Hyundai dealers who invite you to test drive our award-winning lineup today. Visit buyhyundai.com. Welcome back to the leadoff man. Let's get the Cubs farm report. We're going to go down to High A Myrtle Beach. The Pelicans already winners of the first half title, so they will be in the playoffs. Here's their fine broadcaster, Nathan Barnett.
At the major league level, the stretch run for a contender often means the acquisition of new talent. Bolstered rosters from trade acquisitions and waiver additions jockey for playoff positioning.
In the minors, it's often the opposite, however. The most talented teams lose their best players to the next level. The second half becomes a war of attrition. Championships in the minors often have a lot to do with the opening day roster from the team below you in terms of level and what a team manages to hold on to, avoiding injuries and the otherwise very welcome promotion individually speaking. For the Pelicans, that means the infusion of new talent comes from the Class A South Bend Cubs, where the Pelicans have added rotation men Jeremy Nolan, Brad Markey, among a bevy of different relievers, sluggers Kel Brockmeyer and Jason Bossler, and perhaps most importantly, utility man Chesney Young. For most of the year, Young has led all Cubs minor leaguers in batting, swinging the stick at well over a 300 clip with multiple hits in more than a third of his games. From June 6th through July 25th, Young did something no other Carolina leaguer has done. He reached safely in 44 straight games, setting a Carolina League record and one he didn't even know he had. Making 14 games in a row with a hit and 44 games consecutively reaching base safely.
I didn't know about it until I actually broke the streak when my family had sent me like 5 text messages on my phone. The thing with streaks is that you have to be consistent, and I think that me being the player that I am, I'm not going to hit a home run, every other game, but I can do things consistently.
That consistency is what led manager Mark Johnson to say simply about Chesney Young, he's a pro. His ability and performance at the plate is made even more impressive by the uncertainty of his role every day when he comes to the ballpark. Since arriving to Myrtle Beach in May, the college third baseman has played 6 different positions, including first base, left field, and right field. 3 positions he had never played prior to this year.
Playing every position has been a challenge for me. Trying to focus on the present moment. When I'm playing defense, I'm playing defense, and when I'm hitting, I'm hitting. So I don't let what position I'm playing in the field or anything like that affect another part of the game.
How has he done it all? Young says he just breathes.
I do a few breathing techniques before I step up to the plate. I usually go to the left side of the batter's box and take 3 deep breaths, and that really kind of puts me in the mood. I get to think about what I need to do in this at-bat and then go up there and hopefully execute.
Ever since he's qualified, Chesney Young has led the Carolina League in hitting, and barring a slump over the final month of the season, he should finish as the 3rd ever Pelican to lead the league in hitting for a single year, the first since 2006. He's on pace at the moment and has a shot to even break a franchise record for batting average in a single year, set by Marcus Giles 16 years ago, a mark of .326. For the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, I'm Nathan Barnett.
Good stuff, Nathan. Thank you. As we check out the rest of the minor league system, Javier Baez with an 8-game hitting streak. Tommy La Stella with Iowa's hit in his last 5 in a row. And at Eugene, Donnie Dewey's 15-game hitting streak, 2nd-round pick this year of the Cubs. We're getting set for the Cubs hosting the Atlanta Braves. Coming up on WGN. Is brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers, who invite you to test drive our award-winning lineup today. Visit buyhyundai.com. We're getting set for the Braves and the Cubs here on WGN Sports. And the Messmers are here, Wayne and Kathleen, and they will sing God Bless America, followed by our national anthem.
National Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing and join Wayne and Kathleen Messmer as they honor our nation with God Bless America, followed by our national anthem.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains, to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Oh, stay, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red were, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
inside beautiful Wrigley Field. Great shot of downtown. Great weather today. We got a little rain earlier, but we should be in good shape the rest of the afternoon. Braves and Cubs as the Cubs go for the 4-game sweep here on WGN Sports. And JD, let's wrap up this series, the first 3 games of the series. A lot of extra base hits, wind blowing out, the ball flying out of the ballpark.
Yeah, 9 home runs hit total in this series. The Cubs have 7 of them. They've been chasing the Brave starters early. That's been an ongoing trend pretty much all season long. Good offense for the Cubs, and we expect more of it here this afternoon.
Rookie Matt Whistler for the Braves. Jason Hamill trying to get back on track for the Cubs. We'll have the final game of this series coming up next. Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. Honda. Great deals are happening at the Honda Summer Clearance Event. Now at your Honda dealer. Napa. Home of Napa know-how. Ford. America's best-selling brand. Inviting you to go further in our fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out our entire lineup at your Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Subway, make a smart play for savory subs this season. Score more flavor at Subway restaurants. Subway, eat fresh. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition on WGN TV is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Great shot from center field as Jason Hamill gets set to work against this Braves starting lineup. Yesterday, their 5th loss when scoring at least 7 runs this season. Nick Markakis, Cameron Maben, and Freddie Freeman are at the top. Nick Swisher gets in the lineup again after homering twice yesterday. Adonis Garcia's at third, Jace Peterson at second. Pedro Siriaco giving Simmons a break. That's Andrelton Simmons out of the lineup. Lavarnway and Whistler make up the battery.
Check in on the Cubs defensively, and you'll see a familiar look. Schwarber, Fowler, Soler, left, center, right here this afternoon. Third to first will go Bryant, Russell, Coughlin, Rizzo. Miguel Montero is behind the plate. And 60 feet, 6 inches away is the big right-hander, Jason Hamill. Hamill, 32 years of age, 6'6", 225. 6-5 with a 3.38 ERA, making his 24th start.
You see Demetrius Ivory on the big board telling us we're fine the rest of the day. Wind blowing out toward right center at the moment out of the west.
If you were playing charades, you would say, weatherman. He's being a weatherman.
Here we go. Markakis against a former Oriole teammate, Jason Hamill.
Keep an eye on this matchup today. Markakis with outstanding numbers against Jason.
Ben May has worked every base in this series, as has Doug Eddings, Adrian Johnson, Bill Miller, the crew chief, at third. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Markakis 8 out of 16 career against Hamill. One of those 8 a home run.
Jason needs a good one. He's had some short starts here as of late.
Yeah, ineffective last time out against the Tigers. He allowed 3 home runs. He allowed 5 runs and 9 hits in 3 innings of work.
In the air out in the left, and it's hauled in by Kyle Schwarber for the out.
Short outings the previous 2, relatively short, but that was more about Joe Madden just playing matchups and wanting to make a move to the bullpen. Jason actually pitched pretty well in those ball games. But because of the short workload and the struggles last time, overall the numbers not good here recently for Jason. An ERA of 5.68 in the month of August, 1-1 with a 5.33 and 6 post All-Star break starts.
Yeah, he has not completed 6 innings over his last 7. Cameron Maybin fouls. So in Hamill's last start, you mentioned he wasn't very effective. He gave up 9 hits in 3 innings, 5 runs. He made 62 pitches, 46 were strikes, but they weren't quality strikes. He almost threw too many.
Strikes can be overrated. It's the great Warren Spahn who said you want to throw the ball as close to the plate but as far away from the bat as possible.
1 and 2.
And we always harp on strikes, and I think fans would probably be surprised to find out that the percentage of pitches in the strike zone league wide is less than 50%.
Right, but as we know, strikes can be of the swinging variety.
Yeah. The game plan against most hitters is throw strike 1 and then start to expand the zone.
A little flinch by the home plate umpire Ben May. 2 and 2.
And if you can throw strike 1 by painting a corner or throwing a breaking ball in the zone when a hitter prefers to take a whack at a fastball, you're ahead of the game.
Swing and a miss on the slider. First strikeout of the day for Hamill.
Great action on this slide ball. That is his most effective pitch, and it's one of the more effective sliders in the game. He should be fresh, right, with the short pitch counts his last 3 outings.
Fifth game back from the DL for Freddie Freeman. 5 for 7 with 2 homers versus Hamill in his career.
A lot of turnover with his Braves club, so not a lot of their hitters have much of a book on Hamill. Jason in his career has not put up good numbers against his club, but a lot of that was some years ago. He did, however, pitch his only career shutout against the Braves. It was a 1-hitter back in 2012.
Freddie Gonzalez hoping his team can salvage a final game of what has been an 0 for 6 road trip.
Ouch.
And Freeman just got hit.
It's a slide ball right off that back kneecap. Painful for Freeman, frustrating for Hamill. To despite the fact that you hit the guy, you want to yell at him, get out of the way.
Here's Nick Swisher, who yesterday tied a major league record by homering from both sides of the plate for the 14th time. That puts him even with Mark Teixeira on the all-time list. He made a good point about switch hitters in previous eras. He said we have more of an advantage now in this category because there are more pitching changes.
Okay, let me think through this.
Yeah, so in the 50s and 60s, if you're a switch hitter, you're probably facing one guy the whole day, or two at the most.
So but he's claiming it's an advantage. Well, to see different guys.
No. In terms of having a chance to homer from both sides of the plate.
Yes. More at bats
against each side.
Yeah. He actually got on the end of his bat. A big clump of pine tar or mud or something. And he just took a practice swing and might not be there any longer. It's gone.
Here's a 2-0. On the outside, Swisher confirming.
Not a real big guy, compact and certainly strong enough. He's hit about 250 major league home runs. And healthy, usually can put him down for 20 plus in a season.
2-2. He's had good on base skills. Those numbers with the Braves, 30 games earlier with Cleveland before he got traded. Coming back from surgery on both knees. Freeman takes off and Swisher fouls.
Jason did not pitch in the series against the Braves over in Atlanta right after the All-Star break. He pitched twice against them last year. One good one, one not so good.
Bryant playing between Rizzo and Coghlan on the right side. Freeman not running this time, and that ball is lined into center. Freeman will make the turn but stop at second.
Talking with Chris Bosio the other day, and Joe Madden has talked about this too with Jason. I think at times he tries to overpower the ball, tries to throw that four-seamer by guys, and that could be an effective pitch for him, especially when he throws a glove side to a right-handed hitter. But they want to see him get back to that two-seamer, maybe sacrifice a little velocity for command, just action down and away. And that's an impressive swing of the bat to be able to get on top of that pitch and hit it that hard. So, 91, 92 with movement down as opposed to maybe 94 straight and up.
Well, the third baseman Garcia, he bounces the first pitch to Bryant. Easy play, and the inning is over. Braves leave a couple. The Cubs coming up against rookie righty Matt Whistler. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. As we show you the lineup on the right, you're seeing a bunch of home runs from this weekend. And the Cubs are hitting a bunch. 23 over their last 10 games. 1 through 7 and 9. Pretty much the same that we've seen here this week.
Well, if it stays in the ballpark, somebody's going to have to catch it, and that responsibility will fall to these fine gentlemen for the Braves here this afternoon. Swisher, Maben, and Markakis in the outfield. Garcia. Siriaco spells Anderson Simmons. Siriaco making his 7th start at short this year. Jace Peterson, Freddie Freeman, second first. Backup catcher gets an assignment today. That's Ryan Lavarnway. And the rookie Matt Whistler, 22 years of age, making his 12th start of the season, 12th major league start. 5-3, 4.65 is the ERA. He's given up a fair number of home runs, 8 long balls in 62 innings.
So an unfamiliar foe in Matt Whistler. He came over from San Diego the night before the Braves opened their season this year. In the Craig Kimbrell deal, he was the Padres' #1 prospect at the time. That's deep, and it will go. Leadoff homer, Dexter Fowler, number 14.
Welcome to Wrigley, Mr. Whistler. Could be a little unsettling for a rookie, and boy, what a tear Dexter Fowler is on. My goodness. Jeepa. Triple and 2 singles yesterday. Slugging better than .750 over the last couple of weeks. And boom, just like that, the Cubs out in front.
So that is a new career high for Dexter. He hit 13 in 2012 with the Rockies. He also just scored his 83rd run. So that is 1 away from his 2011 career record of 84 runs scored.
Fowler got him, and keep an eye on the rest of the left-handed batters in the Cubs lineup today. Lefties real good numbers against Whistler. They're hitting .347 against him with an OPS over 1,000.
So remember, as we got started in the second half, we commented that Dexter might be due a really good stretch, because if you looked at his track record and the numbers in terms of the rate stats he had put up, he was so far off those marks, and he's done exactly that. His OPS coming into today on the season, 773. It's 784 in his career, and that includes a lot of time.
And we talk a lot about regression to the mean. Dexter's like progression to the mean, getting back to where he normally is.
Good word, progression to the mean. I like it. Looks like we got a lot of dragonflies in the ballpark. Ball hammered by Schwarber. Hopefully everybody's all right.
Calling for some help.
Fan in the second row right behind the tarp. A scary incident in Detroit a couple of days ago. Fan got hit. So the pitcher and catcher will talk about it. So the Cubs now have hit 24 home runs over their last 11 games. With that Fowler leadoff shot.
That's their 47th since the All-Star game, and that leads the National League.
Ground to the second baseman, Peterson. We'll bring up Chris Coghlan. This is low, ball one.
So this is game 16 of 17 here in Chicago in 19 days. 3 on the south side, the rest here at Wrigley.
Peterson again.
Cubs are 12-3 in the first 15 games. And a heck of a run. Schedule gets a little tougher in September, a little more road heavy.
Yeah, after tomorrow, the Cubs will have 17 of 23 on the road, including a 3-city trip in September. Breaking ball strike. Rizzo hit his 25th homer yesterday. The next time he's hit by a pitch, and it'll happen, it'll be his 25th. And hopefully it's not very painful, but he will become the 6th player with a 25-25 season. Homers hit by pitches. Don Baylor, Andres Galarraga, Craig Wilson, Chase Utley, Ricky Weeks. The first 5 to do that. Two-one on the way, and it misses 3-1. So Matt Whistler is from Bryan, Ohio, drafted out of high school by the Padres 2011. Major league debut came earlier this year with the Braves, and it was a good one against the Mets. He went 8 innings and didn't walk anybody. June 19th.
Allowed 6 hits, just 1 run.
So he's the first Atlanta Brave, that is since the Braves moved from Milwaukee to Atlanta, to ever go 8 innings in his major league debut and not walk anybody. Ball 4.
We saw a rookie yesterday, Williams Perez, pitch for Atlanta. He went 4 2/3. Mike Foltynewicz, also a rookie, went the opener in the series. Mike lasted 4 2/3. We're going to keep a watchful eye on Whistler in terms of the pitch count. He's only thrown 100 pitches once so far this year.
Yeah, their rotation at the start of the season. Would you care to take a guess? As Bryant sends one high and deep, right field. It's gone. A 2-run homer. And it's 3-0. His 18th of the year.
That's number 4 for Chris on this stretch we were talking about for the last couple of weeks. He's one of the big contributors. He's had good numbers here all year long. Boy, I love that swing. When he's hitting the ball with authority the other way, that's a great sign. That's something very few guys can do, to take that ball middle in and down and lift it with that much authority the other way. That's the kind of swing that gets the scouts drooling.
It is his 6th to the right of center.
Yeah, and you know, opposite field home runs have no more value than pulled home runs. The same thing with base hits. We talk so much about how, you know, hit the ball the other way, stay up through the middle. The ultimate idea is to, you know, get hits, hit the ball out of the ballpark, drive in runs, all that good stuff. But it's the ability to do that. You know, when you can do that, you can do a lot of different things, and it's pretty impressive stuff. That reminds me of the one he hit way back at the beginning of the season when he pinged one off the wall in Pittsburgh in right center on a pitch that was down and in. And I remember talking to some scouts after the game and said, If he can do that, this kid's going to be just fine.
Whistler behind 3-1 to Montero, who's got the game-winning RBI the last 2 days. On a home run yesterday. That was a vicious cut. And it's 3-2. Well, our theme with the lineup was the home runs. The Cubs have already hit 2. 5 batters in. Another walk.
Whistler's got to be a little unnerved right now. See Roger McDowell comes popping out of that dugout.
Here comes McDowell. We heard an ovation just around the time Montero walked. The fan who was hit on the Schwarber foul ball is being taken out of the ballpark, and again, we hope she's okay. Soler will stand in 4 for 10 in the series. He added some insurance in the 8th inning yesterday, and I didn't think this ball was going to get out. And it's so high, but he got it up into the jet stream.
Yeah, and boy, look out if this guy starts hitting the ball out of the ballpark, because that's the next phase for him. He's been a line drive hitter. He's got a quick bat. Talking with John Maley about him a week 10 days ago, he said, you know, I don't want to put too much on his plate at once. We had to get him, you know, a little taller in the box. We had to get his timing right where he could get on the fastball with more regularity. And once you get there, then I'll start to work a little bit with posture and things like that, where you might be able to generate more backspin and hit the ball out of the ballpark more frequently. But you see it a lot of times with young hitters. Sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 years for a guy to fully ripen. You know, he might be a high average hitter. He might be able to hold his own at the big league level, and then 3, 4 years into his career, all of a sudden, boom, the ball starts jumping out of the ballpark.
Hit hard on the ground, knocked down by Garcia, picks it up, throw to first. He airmails it out of play. And Montero, I believe, will have to head back to third, but until they told him, he just figured, I'll just keep going.
He wasn't sure the ball had gone out of play, so he kicked back in. He saw it land there, so he just decided to keep going.
E5.
Yeah, if ever a pitcher needed a pickup defensively, it was Whistler here in the first, but he didn't get it. Garcia clanks it and then airmails it.
A couple of days ago, Garcia, was it Siriaco? It was Siriaco who was charged with throwing error. Kind of a tough one. A ball that was not caught at second. That was legit. They'll get another chance here. And that will end the inning, but the Cubs put 8 men at the plate. A couple of home runs, Fowler and Bryant, and it's 3-0 after an inning.
second. Fans, if you want to manage the game along with Joe Madden, log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you watch from home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape. Tools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Everything you need to have more fun at home this summer. Well, if you want to manage along with Joe right now, you just pour yourself a lemonade, put your feet up, and watch the show.
Curveball low and inside.
Mixing in a few more curveballs in recent starts. He's primarily a fastball slider pitcher. I feel like curveball, especially against the left-handed hitters, a little bit more.
Comes a 3-1. Hit hard on the ground, but it rolled right to Rizzo. We'll bring up the shortstop, Pedro Siriaco. He's in for Andrelton Simmons. 2 for 5 with a stolen base in the series. And a rough go for the Braves, especially on the road. They have now dropped 21 of their last 23 away from home. In terms of runs per game, they've been outscored during this stretch 5.39 to 2.57. And they've been basically doubled up in the run department. And it's the first time they've had this bad a stretch on the road since 1935 when they played in Boston. Or I should say when they didn't play in Boston. It's
when they were the Boston Braves, but
yeah.
Tomahawk flop. And so you look at that and say, well, okay, but they have to be kind of bad at home too. But at home, they've actually been a winning club. 8 games better than 500 in their home ballpark.
They're gearing up for 2017. And they open their new ballpark in the Atlanta suburbs. Swing and a miss. He chased one. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Tickets are still available for tomorrow's 1:05 makeup game with Cleveland. And as a reminder, the tickets from the original June 15th rainout are good for tomorrow's game. And as always, visit Cubs.com for tickets and the latest updates. Cannot make it out here. We will have that game right here on WGN.
Heck of a pitching matchup, too. John Lester, Corey Kluber.
Backup catcher Ryan Lavarnway, first action of the series. He has split the year between the Orioles and the Braves, and on paper he was a Cub last December for 4 days. Cubs got him on waivers from the Dodgers, but then Baltimore took him from the Cubs on waivers. And I think we had this philosophical discussion earlier this season. Might have been about Omar Infante. If you are a Cub, but only on paper during the offseason where you never wear the uniform, are you really a Cub? And I think we decided the answer is no.
Yeah, I would go with no there.
Lined into right center for a base hit.
I would think only if you dressed out for a major league game. Even if you didn't get in, at least if you were on the roster and available for a game, then you were in the club.
Well, my line is once a Cub on paper, always a Cub on paper. Whistler 1 for 18 with an RBI. Coghlan will just get the force out instead of trying to apply the tag, and the inning comes to an end. 3-0 Cubs early.
Brought to you by Budweiser. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you.
Stay tuned for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Budweiser. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. Big Cub fan from Evanston, Illinois, Jake Johnson. He's an actor. He's on New Girl, opposite Zoe Deschanel. Curveball missed from Whistler to Russell. Every time I say Whistler, I think of Billy Williams. Whistler, Alabama. Different spelling.
I keep thinking of Whistler's grandmother. Look out. It's happened on occasion to Addison. And again, we hope fans are all right. So that's good news. Here's a 2-1 pitch. 2-2. The 9 spot. Russell's done some good damage here as of late, especially. Home run yesterday at 2 hits, 2 RBIs. So I mentioned earlier before Bryant had homered the opening day rotation for the Braves. Yeah. So there are 2 guys still in it. Teran
and Miller. Swing and a miss. Or strike 3. We had Eric Stoltz. We had Trevor Cahill. We had Alex Wood.
Alex Wood is now a Dodger. Trevor Cahill is now an Iowa Cub.
Stoltz got traded as well. Fowler with a leadoff homer in the first. And for our Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? The distance of that blast, 409 feet to the bleachers.
Whistler, just 22 years of age, as you mentioned, considered the top prospect of the Padres when dealt over to the Braves. Looks like the ball jumps out of his hand nicely. 93-94.
Diving stop, Peterson, and he gets it.
Another good swing by Fowler, though. He's made so much solid contact here. He's taking his walks. You look around this Brave ball club, especially the one on the field today. It's Freddie Freeman, the only homegrown guy on the club, playing today. Siriaco's a journeyman. Peterson came from the Padres.
Schwarber could not hold up. He's 0 for 11 with a couple of walks so far in the series. One and two.
Yeah, his average over the last couple of weeks down, but the on-base percentage still really good, and the slugging numbers outstanding as well. 5 home runs over the last couple of weeks.
Wind and the 2-2 pitch is lifted in the air, foul, and out of play.
Come in bunches for Chris Davis. He and Gonzalez with 8 leading the way.
Slicing drive out in the deep left. Gone. Number 3 for the Cubs today, and we're only in the 2nd inning. And all to the opposite way.
Davis and Gonzalez no longer leading the way in August home runs. They've got a partner, and he just touched home plate. Haas Schwarber does it again.
His 11th. That is a strong 22-year-old major leaguer right there.
Not just strong, but how about the approach, too? You referenced the ability and the willingness to go the other way. It's been a big part of Coughlin's game plan.
One and one on Chris.
Most of this season, this ballpark has played big. The wind's been blowing in. It's been a cool summer for the most part. Well, when you look at the flags at the top of the scoreboard in center field, it doesn't appear that it's helping a whole lot to left, but that could be deceiving.
That deflects off the glove of Whistler. It'll go 1-4-3 to get Coughlin. But Kyle Schwarber, hitless to start this series, bangs one to left. It's 4-0 after 2. can. Mazda, conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. Basketball here this week.
You want to play basketball, Chief? Put the ball in the basket, Chief. That's all you got to do.
Curve strike to Nick Markakis. 4-0 Cubs. Diving stab. Chris Coughlin makes the play. Well, he just got robbed by Peterson, and he takes a hit away from Markakis.
Good look at it here. Sharply struck. Made an error. Was it yesterday? Yesterday's ball game, I think. Maybe the day before. And that was the first one he had made all year. He's been rock solid.
On Maben. A chance for Coughlin. Drive hit right at him.
See Chris Bryant moving across the infield out into the rover position in shallow right for Freeman. Cubs go into the 1-3-1 zone trap.
This quick 1-2-3 third inning. All Cubs early, leading 4-0.
TV.com. The blog is sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent, serving the area for 37 years.
Oh, ball deflected off the glove of Whistler. And Anthony Rizzo will reach as Siriaco couldn't get a handle on it. That's a base hit. There have been some balls whistled off bats from both teams early on.
Lucky that one didn't break his wrist. It was a rocket.
Once again, Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? Chris Bryant sent one 388 feet. And counted for 2. As Rizzo had walked right before that home run. And he just got hit. Got a little protection on that left elbow.
Guys that hit the ball a long way the opposite field tend to get pitched hard inside. So with that two-seamer, he's given up a lot of hard contact today, so that time he's making sure if he's going to miss, he's going to miss well in off the plate. Bryant had to pay the price for it, but the Cubs set up shop again, first and second, nobody out.
Montero walked in the first. We'll see David Ross back at the plate tomorrow, catching John Lester to finish up the homestand in the makeup game versus Cleveland. Indians are in New York playing the Yanks today as a retired Andy Pettit's number. Jorge Posada yesterday, Andy Pettit today. 3-1 Cleveland, bottom of the 5th. I say yesterday, 22 Yankee uniform numbers have now been retired.
Number 8 twice. Bill Dickey and Yogi Berra. They're the probables. Kluber not having a good year in terms of the one-loss record at 8-13. A good ERA, respectable for sure. And same could be said for John Lester, has pitched better than that 8-9 record.
Deep drive to left. That's a 3-run homer for Montero.
This is an onslaught.
7-0.
Absolute beatdown for this young kid, man. This is tough. The 22-year-old rookie out there to take this punishment. Freddie Gonzalez has got into that bullpen early and often in this series. Sometimes you just got to take your lumps. Again, it's sliding away, but there's no sink on it. And Montero, as he's done frequently here lately, riding it the other way. Remember the game winner he had earlier on to left field.
So that makes it 15 out of the last 18 games the Cubs have scored at least 5 runs. The ground at third. Garcia made an error on the ball hit by Soler the last time. Will make this play.
That was sharply hit.
There will be some action in the visitors' bullpen. So look at that. 8 times the last 12 games they've scored at least 7 here at Wrigley Field.
You know, I always joke in those high strikeout games that I'm going to run out of red ink for marking them because I mark my strikeouts in red ink. I'm just going to run out of ink, period, filling in the scorecard with all the runs the Cubs are scoring.
Animal strikes out.
Joined Joe Madden, Cub players, ringside after the game on September 2nd for an unforgettable night of amateur boxing. Great food, and of course giving back to Chicago's youth. Located at the Ravenswood Event Center, Madden's main event will feature local youth boxers at various skill levels, as well as a special main event bout. For details and tickets, visit CubsCharities.com. Joe's very excited about that event. And that's Joe. I don't know if he's did any boxing as a kid.
Not sure. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one coming up here in this next homestand. Mentioned Matt Whistler's from Bryan, Ohio. I don't know if he's got family and friends here at the ballpark. That's in the northwestern corner of the state. So 3 hours almost straight east of Chicago, where the Michigan and Indiana borders. Two, full 3-2. Put together a real strong month of July. 4-0 with a 3.30. 0-2 with a 7.20 to start August. Today not helping that ERA at all. Bryan, Ohio, did you know Dum Dum Suckers are made there? The Spangler Candy Company.
I did not know that.
Headquartered there, yeah. Left field, it'll drop in front of Swisher. Also, the Ohio Art Company is located in Bryan, Ohio. That company makes Etch-a-Sketch.
Etch-a-Sketch, yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah, Ohio Art, I remember. That was the iPad of my youth. Right?
Yeah. Fowler held.
Put that screen away and go outside and play.
Say hi to all the fans watching us in South Bend. I guess our game is on the video board right now. Andrew McKirahan, former Cub farmhand, up in the Braves bullpen. In tight.
So trying to fight back a little bit, trying to push these hitters off the plate some. His biggest issue today for me has been just command of the fastball. That two-seamer, he's left that up. He's gotten hurt with it. The action on his slider is really good. There's plenty of velocity.
Joey Votto since the break. 561. Fowler really good. 453. That'll go up.
Yeah, it's like Joey Votto when he didn't make the All-Star game said, "Oh yeah, I'm not an All-Star.
Take this."
Take this, National League pitchers.
Seven 7-0 Cubs. Pitching change early. We'll be back.
270 feet. Composite on how far did they fly and add them all up. There's been so many of them here lately. McCarrahan lefty out for the 3rd time in this series, 16th time this year. He's 1-0 with a 4.67 ERA.
So 2 innings over 2 appearances on Thursday and Friday. Schwarber takes a breaking ball outside. Carrahan taken in the Rule 5 draft by Miami from the Cubs last December. Then on April 1st claimed on waivers by the Braves. 3 weeks later served with an 80-game suspension for violation of MLB's drug policy. Shot right field. Markakis makes the grab as we get a look from the Budweiser board out in right field. Montero with the latest 4-homer day for the Cubs, 7-0.
Budweiser bleachers. They still remain a timeless tradition here in Chicago. No experience quite like it. Visit Cubs.com/bleachers to buy tickets and learn more about available spaces in the bleachers. Pretty good chance you're going to get a home run ball.
Also pretty good chance we're going to see some bench players in this game. Cubs leading big here, and Joe has had a pretty consistent lineup with this parade of right-handed starters for the other teams. And I think Joe used the phrase or the term getting guys off their feet. Probably still too early, but I think once we get into the 6th, 7th inning, it'll be a Rizzo, a Bryant, a Russell possibly out. We'll see.
Yeah, and guys might beg to stay in there on a day like today. Guys hate to give up at bats. But sometimes it's the prudent thing to do.
And you don't ever, at this point in the ball game, with the wind blowing out, say, well, it's in the bag. But you feel pretty good about it, especially if it's a similar score in 2 or 3 innings from now. And the fact As we mentioned earlier in this series, the Braves have hit the fewest home runs by far in Major League Baseball. This is not an offense really built to make big comebacks, even though they did score 7 yesterday. That was an outlier for them.
It's a cool shot.
Not so cool for Swisher, but yeah.
Jason taking a shot at that outside corner.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Along with Jim DeShays and our WGN Sports crew, Len Casper here at beautiful Wrigley Field. Been a fun week. More fun since the end of the Tigers series. Cubs gave up a bunch of runs in that 2-game set, but they've scored a ton here in this set. Diving attempt by Soler. He can't get it. Garcia on his way to second, and he'll slide in with a double.
Now Jorge's taken some funky routes out there this year. He's had some bad reads. And good effort here at the end.
Peterson, the batter, runner at second, 1 out. Fouled away. Happy birthday wishes go out to big Cub fan Bonnie Schroyer. It's been a good one.
She shares a birthday with Julio Franco, among others.
How old is Julio? Let me guess. 55, 56.
How is Julio? Let me see. I have him pulled up here and I've lost him.
Make sure you tweet us a selfie at hashtag, or as JD would say, # WGN Cubs. For you old school types, it's # WGN Cubs.
To repeat this message, hit the hashtag. Nobody ever says that. Julio Franco is 57.
57.
He's 2 for 3 today somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't he a player manager? Didn't we mention that story in Japan or
Korea or something? First ever DH, Ron Blomberg, celebrating a birthday today. Scrolling down through Baseball Reference, some of the great names and some of the more obscure guys. Hey, he's partying with that guy. Like the look, my friend. Rocky Stone celebrating a birthday today. It's kind of a redundant name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like he'd be a character on the Flintstones. Mason does not appear to be in jeopardy of getting the early hook here today with the support his team has given him. Frees him up. Stretch it out here this afternoon.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Hamill. Probably not in an area he really wanted, but got the desired result.
Yeah, that slider, he gets a lot of swings and misses in the zone at his slider. We saw it with Swisher, and here's Peterson again. Hitters just don't pick up the spin. They see fastball, and they're fooled by that pitch.
Siriaco, swing and a miss. Rays at some point they're going to bring up Hector Olivera, the third baseman they got from the Dodgers. Originally thought it might be as early as tomorrow. I guess indications are it may be after Monday, but once he gets here, he'll likely man third base every day as they again look ahead to the future. That's Matt Marksberry, a left-hander up in the Braves bullpen. So guys like Siriaco and Garcia have been playing a lot of third. Let's see their playing time cut dramatically. Kicks away as he swings and misses. I think he thought he got a piece of it. He didn't run. And that's the inning. So Siriaco trying to make his case, but not apparently strong enough. 7-0 in the 4th.
That same old place, sweet home Chicago.
And show your Cubby pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC.
Coghlan, Rizzo, and Bryant. Cubs have hit at least one homer in each of the first 3 innings. They hit 2 in the opening frame. Andrew McKirahan on in relief. He got the final out of the 3rd. Allowed out, line out to right by Schwarber. And Cutter in there for a strike. And in the hands and fought off foul. got some sick people on Twitter. They think Joe should get somebody up in the bullpen in the top of the 5th and have him walk out
just to play a joke on
just
Jason.
to have fun with Jason Hammond. I like it.
I do too.
And looking at the bullpen all the way out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if Jason would get it, but
because you get into a different zone when it's your day to pitch, you're not as
willing to take a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Coughlin slowly hit, and Peterson just able to get the ball out of his glove.
I think as the furthest I would go with that would be maybe to walk up to Jason after 5 and say, "You okay? You good? Got one more in you?"
He's been really good today and taking full advantage of the run support he's getting. Jason saying, "Could you imagine if Joe did that?"
Well, maybe that would be the real joke for Jason to turn the tables on Joe and to look at him after 5 and just kind of give him the, I'm done.
We want to send out get well wishes to a 30-year Bleachers season ticket holder, Ellen Shockley. Recently had foot surgery. So I guess she's on the bench for the rest of the summer. I'm watching today. Get well soon. Bounced foul by Rizzo.
If you can't make it out here, just stay home, put your foot up, let your family wait on you. Enjoy the ball game. I recommend a little bell. Just ring the bell anytime you need something.
Line shot, left field. Swisher with a little late leap, and he's got it on the warning track. Has not played a ton of outfield this year. Hey, Cubs fans, let's go. Don't miss your chance to catch the best matchups in baseball. Reserve your place in line for history in the making by joining the season ticket holder waiting list. It's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list.
Not the best angle of pursuit, but ultimately Swisher hauls it in.
Chance here to go 20 games over for the first time this season. Cubs on pace going into today for a 94 win campaign. They're only 3 wins away from last year's season total. And 41 to go, including this afternoon.
And we've been focusing on the wild card race. The Cubs now 6.5 games behind first place St. Louis, the closest they've been to the Cardinals since June 23rd.
Schwarber playing, or Swisher rather, playing deep, really deep out there, so unable to come in and make that catch. Homer hit by pitch and a single for Bryant today. And this keeps the 4th alive for Montero, who has walked and hit a 3-run shot.
And for Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? The distance of this home run from Miguel Montero, 379. We're hitting so many of these, we're going to have to change it up. Maybe we'll go to meters. Maybe inches.
Well, Greg Pollinchuk checks in from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and wants to ask you if Rocky Stone is a chip off the old block.
Rocky Stone was a pitcher for Cincinnati in 1943. Pitched in 13 games. That was the extent of his major league career. I don't know if he was a chip off the old block. I know there was another pitcher pitched in the big leagues not too many years ago, Ricky Stone.
Steve Stone.
Steve Stone. Oh, we got the whole Rocky Stone thing going. Rocky Bridges. Bill Stoneman.
Here's a chip off the old block. Chip Carey back here at Wrigley Field. You have to watch Harry sing this song on the big board a couple of days ago. Really enjoyed it.
Chip would sell me his hair.
Have you asked him?
I lead the league in hair. You got some quality hair going.
Yeah, you put Chip with Eric Karros, and that would.
It's the greatest hair broadcast tandem ever.
Inside, he walked him. I hate to use the same adjectives over and over again, but the word relentless just continues to pop into my head with this offense here the last few weeks.
Yeah, just, whether it's a tight game, a lopsided game, early, late, regardless of the situation, John Maley's got to be really impressed with the quality that bats he's getting from his guys. Soler 0 for 2. He's hit the ball sharply twice today, both on the ground to third. He wants to join in the fun.
Maybe we'll say it's unabating or unrelenting, unrelieved.
To pull out your Rogers. Funny you should bring that up, or at least head in that direction. Not in terms of relentless, but I was thinking about with all these home runs, and we always refer to them as bombs and missiles and rockets and lasers. It's a very militaristic attachment to the long ball.
Yep.
Maybe we have to come up with some more peaceful terms. I don't have any. Just thinking about it.
Lightly distributed into the seats. I don't know if that fits.
He launched a weather satellite into the second deck. Nope. This is a precarious situation. McCarrahan, couple on, 3-1 to Soler. How bold does he want to be? Well, not very, and perhaps wisely so. Hamill next.
So the bases are loaded.
So they're a little bit of a victim of his spot in the batting order there with Hamill on deck. I'm going to get a 3-1 cookie from McCarrahan.
Some great answers on Twitter. He sent a care package into the bleachers. That's good. Base hit left field. Bryant is in. Montero held. I think Gary Jones normally would send him, but you're up 8-0. It felt like a little bit of good sportsmanship there. Maybe not. Maybe just held him because he thought Swisher had gotten to it quickly. But at any rate, Hamill knocks in a run.
Yeah, just slows the bat down to get to that off-speed breaking ball and flips it into left field. maybe a combination of all those factors. Swisher on it, Montero not speedy, and a lopsided game. And you got Addison Russell, who's been red hot, coming up. Good swing. Two strikes. Got to cut down on that leg kick just a little bit.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. Cubs get one. They lead 8-0. The third bank, the Curious Bank. Cubs have scored in every inning, leading 8-0 as Jason Hamill will work here in the fifth. Happy birthday, young man. Enjoying a day in the bleachers. The Cubs have hit 87 home runs today, and I still haven't caught one.
Plenty of time. Oof.
Barnway.
Giddy up upstairs, been throwing that breaking ball early in the count to get ahead that time. A challenge fastball. And Barnway got a little greedy. He's a Yale guy. An Eli.
Gets a hold of one. And it's gone. A strongly worded memo off the bat of Ryan LaVarnway.
Yes, that was quite the parabola. And it's his second home run of the year.
8-1.
Ambush from the bottom of the batting order.
So McCarrahan, this is his first career plate appearance. To make you nervous? He said that about Daniel Norris.
Daniel Norris, yeah.
The other day. By the way, he went to the DL with the oblique. He could be done this year. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Yeah, those oblique injuries, they tend to linger. Well, heck, Tommy La Stella. It's had him out for most of the year. If you don't know what we're talking about, Daniel Norris, rookie pitcher for the Tigers, his first ever professional plate appearance here the other day, hit a home run off John Lester. And then had to come out of the game in the 5th inning with a strained oblique. So he did not qualify for the win. I believe the Tigers had a 7-3 lead at the time. Somewhere in there's a life lesson. Basically, the whole baseball is a metaphor for life, the ups and the downs and all that good stuff you have to deal with. Markakis played for the Greece national team, the Greek national team, in the Olympics.
Feathered and down right in front of Dexter Fowler. And he's aboard. That's an 0-2 base hit.
Backdoor curveball. I'm not sure if it was intended to be backdoor. It looked like Montero wanted that one down and in. Not in a bad spot, but Markakis able to put it in play, gets himself a knock. That's what high average hitters do. Put all kinds of pitches in play and they get rewarded for it.
Two 2-0 to Maben. Could be 2. It's 1, and that's it. Timing a little off on that flip from Coghlan to Russell, but they do get the lead man and 2 outs.
And Chris decides to lay back and get that higher hop, and has a little difficulty getting out of his glove, and that killed any chance for the double play. Sure, if you were to ask Joe Madden, he would say, I'd rather have Chris take a little extra time to make sure he secures the ball and we get that lead out, make sure we get an out, as opposed to speeding things up, trying to be too quick, botching it and getting nobody. Still doesn't have a lot of experience at this level playing out there.
1-1 on Freeman. Hit by pitch in the first and grounded out for the pitcher in the third. Running and a 1-2. Huh. Okay. Barnway with the leadoff homer, putting the Braves on the board.
If you're going to run down 7, he's going again.
Well, there's nobody covering third right now. That's why Montero made a couple of moves that way.
Well, maybe came back to first base after the last one. It looked like his leg was bothering him a little bit, and he's taking a little extra time to get up here. It's a good pitch, by the way.
Tell you what, he could have kept on going and nobody would have caught him at third. Two and two on Freeman. Bounced it. It's full. Swisher on deck. Two. Ball 4. First walk now surrendered by Hamill.
While Chris Bosio works his way out to the mound, let me remind you, you can bid on a game used or autographed item and help benefit Cubs charities. This week's auction includes the 1958 road jerseys worn on August 14th. Visit Cubs.com/authentics before 8 p.m. tonight to place your bid. The Cubs will donate net proceeds from the sale of Cubs Authentics to Cubs charities.
Thanks to Tom Bizzell on Twitter. Inspiration for that home run call. We're having fun with the peacetime euphemisms
the
for
non-militaristic home run call. Yeah.
We're getting a lot of feedback on all the bugs flying around in the ballpark. I assume dragonflies. I'm not sure why they're out en masse after the rain today, but they are.
Well, where I grew up, they used to do big dragonfly releases because they eat mosquitoes.
There you go.
I don't know if there's been a dragonfly release around here.
So you know what Swisher's thinking? He's thinking if I can get one up into that wind, which today is blowing out to right, make this game a little too close for comfort for the Cubs.
Swing intended to do damage, and as you can see, he's frustrated with himself. He punched out on a slider last time up, and as he walked back to the dugout after that strikeout, he was looking out at the video board watching the replay, kind of shaking his head and doing the same thing here. He thinks he's on that slider, but clearly he is not.
3-1. Johnny Fisher watching from North Carolina. Rooting on the Cubs today. Line right center. Maben will score. Freeman will make the turn. 8-2. Nick Swisher with an RBI single.
Braves making some noise here in the 5th. Varnway started with a home run. Some good at-bats to follow. Justin Grimm jogging down to the Cubs bullpen. Maybe somebody's going to start to loosen up.
Nobody is pulling harder for Hamill to get through this 5th inning than his manager. With all the short starts here lately, got a big lead. Russell to Coghlan. So Garcia rolls into the fielder's choice. They get 2, but Hamill does get through the requisite 5 to qualify for a win. 8-2. Schedule. Makeup game tomorrow. Indians and Cubs here on WGN Sports. 1 o'clock from the ballpark, and then off to San Francisco. 3-game set starting Tuesday night, and we'll kick it off right here on WGN. Ford, America's best-selling brand, inviting you to go further in our fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out our entire lineup at your Ford store or localfordstores.com. Cubs leading 8-2. Dexter Fowler right in the middle of it again today. Home run in the 1st, walked in the 3rd. He just got hit. A couple of Cubs have been hit on fastballs today. In the 3rd, Fowler here in the 5th, both by Kirahan.
Yeah, well, and the way the ball's flying out of the ballpark, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking whether the Braves are taking umbrage and they're drilling the Cub hitters. I don't believe that is the case. I think they're pushing back a little bit, and they're making sure they pitch hard in, trying to reclaim the outside part of the plate, but I don't think there was intent to hit Fowler there.
Fastball to Schwarber for a strike.
The last thing any of these brave pitchers want today is to deal with more base runners.
There's a major league pop-up. Read a promo before it lands. Siriaco makes the catch.
Okay, go ahead, replay that pop-up, and I'll see if I can read this promo. The newborn fan club is the perfect gift to showcase what it means to be a Cub for life. Receive a customized photo of the Wrigley Field marquee, a Cubs birth certificate, baby stocking cap, and a Rookie of the Year onesie. Visit Cubs.com/kids today. Bringing your onesie on the road trip?
I don't have mine, no.
The trip home from L.A. after that Sunday night game is a pajama party.
I've seen some of the outfits.
Have you?
Pretty good.
Maybe you can get your mom to send you your Oiler pajamas.
I don't think they would
rock
fit.
those babies.
I might be a little too big around the waist for those to fit. I don't think I was 6 feet tall when I was 7. You never know. Coghlan retired as Freeman tags him. That'll bring up Rizzo. Well, it should be a fun trip. It's a big trip at San Francisco and LA, but two of our favorite stops on the circuit, AT&T Park and Dodger Stadium.
Giants without Joe Panik. Hunter Pence also on the disabled list. Marlon Byrd made a heck of a first impression, didn't he? Joining the Giants. And
home run and 3 hits. I believe it was Friday night. Starling Marte with a game-ending homer yesterday. Jung Ho Gung hit 2. And the Pirates win, and they'll go at it tonight to wrap up the weekend.
Some good bit of Ardsma in this series.
Justin Grimm. Hamill 84 pitches through 5. It's possible he could be done for the day with this big lead. Got out of the Braves bullpen. Cardinals trying to avoid the sweep. They play the Padres starting here in a few minutes. Michael Wacha looks for his 15th win.
I'm not throwing with any urgency down there, so I'm pretty sure Hamill will go back out. Just read it hitter for hitter.
Padres have won 5 in a row. Colin Ray will pitch for them, a right-hander. They're trying to get back to the 500 mark. So Padres are 6.5 out in the National League West.
Yeah,
they're in 4th, but
making some noise. It's interesting, the Dodgers first place, and they've been top of the division for most of the year, if not all of it, but considered by most to be a disappointing club. 12 games better than 500. I think a lot of people thought they would win 100 ball games this year.
Diamondbacks a shutout winner today in Cincinnati, and they lead the league in runs scored per game. 8-2 Cubs at the end of 5. $9.99 right now for your chance to win 6 meals from the Simple 6 menu at Subway. Subway, eat fresh. Message and data rates may apply. All Cubs. Jace Peterson is Hamill back out for the 6th, but Justin Grimm is ready in the bullpen.
Joe Madden has that foot on the gas pedal, and he's not letting up. Ready to go out on this tough road trip and to make sure he locks down every win possible with a lead, so he's going to take no chances.
Back by Peterson. He came over from San Diego. Not in the Craig Kimbrell deal, but the Justin Upton trade last December. Line shot right to Fowler. We had to move a step or two, and let's once again step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Trying to engineer a 4-game sweep for the 4th time this season. It would be the most 4-game sweeps since 1945. The last time they swept Atlanta in a 4-gamer in this ballpark was 1968.
Well, it's pretty rare. I mean, you don't play that many 4-game series to begin with, and it's really rare to sweep them. So what they've done this year has been really impressive.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Siriaco talked about him the other day. He has not walked yet this year, and I think he walked just once last year. He's not a full-time player, so he doesn't have a ton of at-bats, but enough where the fact that he hasn't walked really gets your attention, and he's been expanding that zone all day here today, overmatched by the Hamill slider. 3 trips, 3 punches for Siriaco.
Back by LaVarnway, who went deep in the 5th. 2 for 2. Good one going in Houston. Dodgers lead the Astros 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Clayton Kershaw and Lance McCullers matching up in that one. 14 combined strikeouts and no walks. Dodgers trying to avoid a sweep. No hit Friday night by Mike Fiers. So they have scored 4 runs so far in the series. including the 2 today. Top 2 hitters in their lineup today, Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley. Swing and a miss. Hamill a 1-2-3 sixth. 8-2 Cubs. Our soundtrack tomorrow, the theme will be makeup songs. So you can tweet us, hashtag LennonJD, hashtag WGN Cubs, and we'll play as many as we can tomorrow. Hear the stylistics in the background. And you also can have some interesting choices. In Your Eyes, Peter Gabriel. Good makeup song, right? John Cusack holding up the boom box. I kind of like Missing You by John Waite, because the chorus is, I ain't missing you at all. But there's one line in the last chorus. He said, I can lie to myself. So it means he is missing you. So I would say that's a makeup song.
I haven't reviewed my makeup song itinerary, my song list. I'm going to work on that, because I know Brady probably wants a major contribution from me on this one.
We always do.
We could go deep into country and find some makeup songs.
David Aardsma, ex-Cub, is on.
Aardsma this year has pitched 32 times, 4.55 ERA. This is our third look at him in this series. Been up every day, I believe.
Awake or
up in the
pitching
pen.
in the bullpen, right?
Helped the Rice Owls win a national championship in 2003. And was a first-round pick of the San Francisco Giants.
You could pick Reunited.
Peaches and Herb.
Yeah. Shot foul. It's like we've got over 40,000 in the ballpark again today. Two to Bryant.
Doesn't quite have to giddy up on the fastball that he once did, so he's got to be a little more clever.
We just broke the internet, by the way. You know why? We just realized every song ever written in the history of recorded music is about breaking up and making up. So. 3-2. Except for Wooly Bully.
Wooly Bully.
High and deep to center. It's out into the basket, and then the juniper bushes. He's 3 for 3 with 2 home runs.
That was fun to watch. Towering high drive. Made a good sound. And it flew far enough. Boy, what a day this kid is having. 2 home runs, a single hit by a pitch. He has scored 4 runs. He has driven home 3, including himself twice.
Nine to 2. Fowler, Bryant, Schwarber, Montero, Bryant. Let's see, only one run has scored that did not result from a home run. That was the Hamill single in the 4th. Clayton Richard, looks like he'll get the 7th. Foul.
Mickey's promoting a replay here.
Elevated out into left center. Maben's got it. Still time to plan a group outing this season at Wrigley Field. The Cubs offer special ticket packages for groups of 15 or more with exclusive benefit options, including parking and Wrigley Field tours. For more information, visit Cubs.com/groups. Slider strike.
Cubs are hitting so many home runs today. Even ex-Cubs are hitting home runs. Wellington Castillo went deep for the 16th time. He's having a heck of a year with the Diamondbacks.
So they're coming to Wrigley. The Diamondbacks. September 4th through the 6th.
It's a long time between games, isn't it? We saw them really early.
Yes, we did. Soler strikes out. We were in Arizona toward the end of May. Gets the at bat, his 4th of the day, 1 for 4 with an RBI. Oh, 2 on Hamill. We'll chat with Jake Johnson, actor and Chicago native, went to New Trier. In the 7th, he's going to sing the stretch. And I guess he knows his Cubs. And we like that. One and 2. Hamill's single in the 4th inning, his 10th hit of the season, career high for him.
Yeah, it's a good year for a pitcher. Get double digits in hits.
Kris Bryant with his 3rd 2-homer game of the season.
And 4-hit game earlier on the homestand. In one of those losses to the Tigers.
16 of his 19 homers have been here at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, he's kind of like the anti-Rizzo. They sit the lion's share of his on the road.
Two and 2. Starlin Castro on deck for Russell.
Hamill's up there keyholing and battling through this at bat.
Payoff delivery. We'll do it again.
Trying to put away Hamill, cannot finish him off. 10 pitches in the at bat.
So that will end the 6th. Kris Bryant has been up to the plate 4 times. He's homered twice and scored all 4. All Cubs once again. tin can. Shelter song by Temples. We got a new double play combo. Castro's into play short. Herrera is now at second. Trust us. And Jason Hamill continues on against Eury Perez, leading off as a pinch hitter here in the seventh. Jake Johnson is with us. A Chicago native, went to New Trier. Huge Cub fan and has put together quite a career in Hollywood. Jake, thanks for stopping by today.
What an honor to be here. I can't believe it. And what a team we got.
It has been a lot of fun.
Oh, man. I mean, this game, starting out with Dexter Fowler, like, what is going on? We're back. I've never felt a Cubs team that felt like this. I was talking to my dad and brother and friend. It doesn't feel like the magic it felt in 2003 where something magical is happening, the Cubs are winning. It feels like, no, we are built to win. We have better players than they have.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It feels like it's going to be here for a while.
I sure hope so. It's nice to see Hamill go so deep in the game, too.
Jay, good for his mental health, I think.
Just over 100 pitches.
That first time that Madden took him out and he looked mad, I thought, like, ooh, I don't want to see what happens after that.
It's good for his mental health, and it's good for their relationship, too. And Joe joked about it, I guess it was after the second time he pulled him a fairly quick hook. He goes, I don't know what my statute of limitations is with him, how often I can pull him that quickly and still get away with it.
That's right. Today was perfect. And how about this game? Just crushing them.
Cubs leading big here in the seventh. So successful series with New Girl. You got a new film that's out.
Yeah, we got an indie film. It's called Digging for Fire. It's with the director Joe Swanberg, who did Drinking Buddies. It's on VOD the 25th. It's got a great cast. It's a lot of fun.
Nice looping grab by Herrera.
Great.
And Herrera just into the game makes the play.
That's the old adage, right? They always find you when you're first into the game.
How about the way Madden manages a game? Is there anybody smarter in baseball than this guy?
You'd be hard pressed, I think, to find one. That's going to be it for Hamill as Clayton Richard will head in. So Hamill leaves with a 9-2 lead. It's been a while since Hamill has gone into the seventh inning. All smiles today as he gives way. Clayton Richard will take over with Jake Johnson, who's going to sing the stretch. Jake, I want to give a plug for a film you were in about 3 years ago called Safety Not Guaranteed. Mark Duplass, Aubrey Plaza. It was one of those movies where it kind of came and went pretty quickly, but you can find it somewhere, and I just thought it was terrific. We won't give away the ending, but it's a really nice film.
Yeah, I was just saying the director that went from that to Jurassic World, which is a crazy jump, and I was happy he brought me with him.
One strike on Nick Markakis.
Who do you guys think we're calling up in September? Baez?
I don't think we saw Baez.
Edwards?
Estella.
Yeah, if CJ's healthy, I know he had a little finger issue. I think he'll be here.
Okay.
Mike Olt, I think.
Oh, I'd love to see Olt again.
Bring bat off the bench would be a possibility. Hopper to Herrera.
I would love to see him as a late game pinch hitter against left-handers.
Mm-hmm. Be able to do some damage.
So if things hold up the way they are now, the Cubs could be in a one-and-done situation, kind of like the 1998 season that ended. They had to beat the Giants to get in to the division round. Are you a fan of the extra one-game wild card?
You know, when I first heard about it, I wasn't. But now that we are going after that second spot, I sure am. I'm like, I hated it. But now I'm so into, I love that we're this deep in the season, and I don't care if it's a one game. I want all these young guys in the playoffs. I want to cheer for them. So as long as it affects the Cubs positively, I guess I've realized I'm into it. If not, I'm a traditionalist.
Right. Now, if the Cubs were on pace to win 130 games, you'd say whoever has the best record is the World Series champ.
Come on, I don't want to deal with these wild cards. You guys are jokers.
System, yeah.
This isn't baseball.
Bounced up the middle. And Herrera will not have much of a play. Maben's got an infield hit. So do you live in L.A. now? Or
I do. I'm in Los Angeles.
How do you like it out there as someone from the Midwest?
Well, I'll tell you, I get the baseball package, so I love it. But what I miss when I left Chicago is, watching you guys and watching the game. And I don't want to see the Braves guys talking about it. I want to hear our guys talking about it. I want to see Wrigley. And so when I started getting the packages, that made L.A. okay for me to live in. Because I didn't have that when I was in New York because I was also broke. So now that I got a job and I can get it, L.A. is kind of working out. But it's this. This is summer to me. Watching Cubs, listening to you guys. It's really great.
Do you get a chance to get back very often?
I just shot a movie here in July. I'm trying to make as many Chicago movies with Chicago people as possible because the amount of talent in this city is so insane that I try to be here as much as I can. Come on, get him.
And you've written some pieces for Grantland. I love the title for the Chicago Cubs. The time is nowish. That's a great word, nowish.
That was about a little over a year ago when I first started seeing what Theo was doing. I love writing about the Cubs because I really believe in what Epstein is doing. And I love what Ricketts is doing for this team. And I'm seeing how it's building a winner that I'm like, we could be a winner for years and years. I lived in New York for a while and had to watch those Yankees win, and I got tired of it. I want to be the Yankees.
Long look at Maben. Richard to the plate. And Freeman just got hit again. Second time today.
How about Kyle Schwarber? Can he keep this up?
Short answer for me, yes. I mean, his batting average has gone down a little bit, but the approach, the swing, the power, it's all there. So yeah, some guys come to the big leagues, and it takes them a while to settle in and figure it out. He looks like he's one of those rare guys that comes and is pretty finished product, at least with the bat.
That's
obviously,
right,
the catching needs to get tightened up a little bit, but the bat looks.
And
that's what we heard from the day he was drafted. He was a mature hitter, polished hitter, and it wouldn't take long for the bat to get to the big leagues. But until you really see it,
that's right.
It's hard to embrace it. But now that we've seen it, it's legit.
Do you see him as our catcher of the future, or is he going to be a left fielder and catch sometimes?
From what I've been told from people in the clubhouse, they feel like he's going to be able to figure out the catching part.
That
those
is a
numbers
catcher
behind the plate. And if you're the
Christmas.
kid, you want to be that, right? Because that's a multiple all-star type player.
100%.
Swisher with a base hit.
Get him.
Trying to score, and he will. So 2-out rally here. Infield hit batter. And Swisher looking in his second run of the day, 9-3.
It's great that I'm feeling angry and it's 9-3.
Yeah, that
That's
irrational.
a great Cub feeling.
Palms start to get sweaty. Oh no, they're only up 6.
And we only have our team. We're upset. I'm like, ooh, I like feeling angry right now.
So you've accomplished a lot, Jake. You're a young man. You've done amazing work. But this coming here to sing the stretch, this has to feel really good for you.
Yeah, it feels crazy, especially because I'm such a terrible singer.
That's okay.
I've pulled the wool over the the eyes. But it's such an honor to be here. I mean, Harry Carey, Steve Stone for me growing up, sitting in this booth. You know, listen, here we go.
All right. Here we go, Jake. It is time for the 7th inning stretch. It is brought to you by Budweiser.
Take me out to the ball game. Actor and Chicago native Jake Johnson.
All right, Cub fans, let's make some noise for this team. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowds. Good dance. I don't care for root for the Rockies if they.
Connected 5 times already today. Time for their season high. Chris Bryant has had quite an afternoon. Miguel Montero's had a great series. Jason Hamill poised for a win. Honda Dream Garage Sales event now at your Honda dealer.
Braves go from the veteran right-hander to the rookie left-hander.
Castro taps one past the mound, and he's going to reach. Infield hit, Starlin Castro.
Marksberry, the young left-hander, on for Atlanta now. 4th pitcher of the afternoon for the Braves. He's pitching for the 12th time, has a .573 ERA. 24 years of age. Made his big league debut on July 31st.
Pitch to Fowler. Bounce to short. They'll get one. That's all they'll get.
Perhaps you're playing fantasy baseball. If you are, MLB.TV serves up real-time highlights. And pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv today. Well, Jake is into his Cubs, isn't he?
I was just going to say.
Tried to squeeze. I wanted to get a question in about Zoe Deschanel there, and had no chance.
Well, he gets it, man. He tried and true Cubs fan. A fan of his work, and even more so now. One and one to Schwarber. Off the plate inside. Got him. A strikeout from Marksberry.
Marksberry allowed the home run to Addison Russell that tied the ball game yesterday, but other than that, he was really good. Struck out 4 in an inning and 2/3.
First plate appearance for Herrera. 39,581 the paid crowd today. In the air to right. Markakis now on the back pedal, and that will end the inning. Cubs do not score. It's been pretty rare today. 9-3.
Xfinity. Boom, 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 boom. 5 home runs today after 4 yesterday. 28 in the last 11 ball games for these Cub hitters. It has been the most impressive show. The Speed Replay is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Jason Mott against Jace Peterson.
Jay Peterman?
Anything for a Seinfeld reference, I know. Denorfia. Is he the silver-haired guy? Okay. So I can catch them.
John Hurley. He emceed John Lester's event there last week.
That's right. Schwarber.
0 for 4 for Peterson today, despite some hard contact. Lined out each of the last 2 times up. Kyle has proven to be just fine out there in left field. Left field, a position on the field that historically has not demanded defensive excellence. A lot of times you'd hide a guy out there, a guy who's, you just want that bat in the lineup, and you figure, well, it's going to hurt us in left field. That's the place where we're not going to be exposed. But he's been fine. It's not the case. He's a good athlete. He's made the plays.
Siriaco grounds out. Yeah, the defensive spectrum is a baseball term. You have kind of a list of positions from easiest to hardest, and it's hard to move, obviously, from, if you come up as a left fielder, it's very rare that you would then become a second baseman.
Right. Because the reason why you're in left field, you have a skill set that you're not fast enough to play center, or whatever. It's usually a guy with some slugging ability. I mean, that's traditionally been the case.
The catcher, shortstop, second, center, third, and then you've got the corner outfield spots at first base. And usually, because of the throws toward third, put the guy with a stronger arm out in right than in left. Occasionally, we look for a little more speed in left, like maybe in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Starling Marte with that extra room out in left center. But yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody who was essentially an everyday player who played another position at the big league level for a long period of time and then caught. Does anyone come to mind?
No.
I mean, a guy who's played 5-6 years and then you go, let's make you a catcher.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen.
No.
And it does explain the Cubs' philosophy of going after shortstops, because you can move in that other direction on the defensive spectrum. But if you draft a bunch of first basemen and corner outfielders, you might end up with a lot of what we call truck drivers in your lineup.
It can be very thin at premium defensive positions.
Denorfia battling the sun here late in the afternoon, and he makes the play. Ott with a 1-2-3 8th inning. 9-3 Cubs. Corey Kluber and John Lester in the makeup game, and we are soliciting makeup tunes. And yeah, we could do the other makeup thing, CoverGirl or something. Would be possible. Maybelline
makeup theme
song. To be true.
I like it.
Aroldis Vizcaino.
Yeah, he's a Brave and a Cub. Back to the Braves. And he's pitched 18 times. And the numbers are really good, aren't they? 16 2/3, just 10 hits. He's not allowed a long one. He struck out 16. Throws a fastball in the upper 90s. Battles some control issues, but get away with it when you strike out as many as he does, or certainly is capable of.
Spent a lot of his time rehabbing his arm injury here with the Cubs. And we would have seen him in a closer's situation in this series, but the Braves haven't had any. So he went over to Atlanta, back to the Braves in the Tommy La Stella deal in November. He served an 80-game suspension this year for a positive PED test. 99 up and away, 1-2.
These 4-game series are a dream for a scout because you can see 4/5 of the rotation and probably see everybody in that bullpen sooner or later.
Here comes Chris Bryant. What a day. And for us, Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? Part 2 for Chris Bryant. 402 feet for his second blast to center.
Well, he's gone to right, he's gone to center. A little shoot one out there to the left to give those folks something to jump up and down about. Had a pitch. There's the target. I believe that's Donald Trump in the middle of the bullseye.
Strike called. Cubs got Vizcaino on July 30th, 2012 from Atlanta. And then traded him back November 16th of last year. He strikes out Bryant. First time Chris hasn't reached. First time he hasn't scored in this one. Originally Vizcaino signed with the Yankees in 2007 with the Dominican Republic. Ball one on Montero. Foul pop. Well, the wind may bring it back. It does land on the field of play, but in foul territory. One and two. Paul Hamels got his first win with the Rangers, 4-2 at Detroit. Over in New York, the Indians packing up and ready to head to Chicago after a 4-3 win.
Don't forget to tip the clubby.
So Cleveland won 3 out of 4 in New York.
The Dodger-Astro game has gone to the bottom of the 9th. Dodgers leading 2-1.
The Indians, by the way, will just stay one night here in Chicago. They'll head home to play Milwaukee Tuesday night. Ball 4. It's the 3rd walk taken by Montero.
Good day for the OPS. 3 walks and a long ball.
Might be some baseball fans out there who might be doing a doubleheader here in Chicago tomorrow. Indians and Cubs here at 1 o'clock, and then the Red Sox and White Sox tomorrow night.
That would be a fun day.
And Orfia bounces foul. I've mentioned this before. I don't know if you've ever done a 2-city one-day deal. My dad and I did a Twins Tigers in Detroit and Brewers Indians in Cleveland on the same day.
I've never done that.
7. A lot of fun.
We did Cubs Expos doubleheader at Jerry Park, followed by Canadians Flyers at the Forum. It was an exhibition game, and before that there was a minor league hockey game.
Wow.
Yeah. Must have been a Sunday, right? Doubleheader back in the day.
I would think.
Yeah. I was playing here after a game against the Cubs. The Sox were in town that night, and my dad and I went over to Comiskey because I think it was the last year of Comiskey. I wanted to check it out. Trying to get Danny Pasquale's attention because he'd been a roommate of mine in the minor leagues, but he wouldn't turn his head. I was screaming at him from the seats in right field.
That is awesome. David Ross on deck. 3-2. Rolled in the left. Base hit. Kristen Orfia.
Joins the hit parade.
So David Ross appearing in his 800th major league game as he's announced as a pinch hitter. Right around this time in 1968, the Cubs swept the Braves in a 4-game series here at Wrigley Field. The final 2 games were part of a doubleheader. August 21st of that season.
So that was the last year prior to the divisional era.
Yep, 1968. Ken Holtzman got a 3-inning save in the final game of that set. 13-5. The Cubs a winner. The plate outside. Vizcaino pretty sharp early on in this inning. Then he walked Montero. DeNorfia singled, and he's 3-2 on Ross. Well, Freddie Gonzalez doesn't want to have to get anybody up, but if his closer gets to 30 pitches, he may have to.
Sitting on that fastball a little too quick. Yeah, that would not be good, right? To get swept in a 4-game set and then a blowout in the finale, you have your closer throw so many pitches that he's not available the next day. Big picture doesn't mean a whole lot for the Braves this year.
2 strikeouts in the 8th for Vizcaino. We will go to the 9th. The Cubs try to complete the sweep. Cubs lead this one. Here as of late, hitting the ball out of the ballpark. They've done it 5 times in this ball game, and James Russell is on to try to get the final 3 outs. A former Atlanta Brave.
James out for the 46th time. That ERA took a significant jump in the wrong direction last time out. Against the Tigers, he allowed 5 earned runs in an inning and 2/3 the night before. So he worked both games of that Tigers series. He has not worked in this series. The first game of that series, he allowed 1 run in 1 inning. We saw his ERA jump from 3.14 to 4.6 in 2 outings.
Johnny Gomes. Pinch hitting, strike 1. 2-2. Starters are pitchers of record, Hamill and Whistler. Called strike 3. Hamill would get his first win this month.
Holmes perhaps looking for something off speed. Can't pull the trigger on the fastball. Well located by Russell. 1 down in the 9th. Yeah, Jason, he's had a ton of no decisions. 6-5 coming into this one. This was his 24th start. He only had 1 home win coming into the start in 12 tries. Despite a 3.58 ERA.
Cubs already clinching the season series, and a win today would be 6 in a row after dropping the first game of the season series, which happened to be the second half opener in Atlanta. If needed, Justin Grimm will be ready. Herrera boots it, throw to first, still got him. Good recovery. 2 away.
Third time in this ball game that Markakis has grounded out to second base. Sharply hit. That allowed Herrera time to recover after a little mishandle. The drop, the boot, and the recovery.
Strike away. Challenges Sam. With the breath. Popped him up. Who wants it? Herrera. Cubs win. Cubs sweep. 4 four-game sweeps here in 2015, and they're 20 games over 500.
And the long ball has been a big part of the story over the last couple of weeks. It was again here this afternoon as the Cubs bang out 5 long ones. And you take a look at the updated National League wildcard standings. Pirates and Giants later on tonight. Cubs currently gain a half a game on each of those clubs.